Hello and welcome to Unashamed with Toyosi. This is a space where I love to shed light about faith, about life, about growth, and becoming better people that God wants us to be without the pressure to have it all figured out. I promise you here that no noise, no pretending, just honest thought and lessons, reflections you can actually live with. I'm going to be sharing with you pure nuggets that you can begin to apply to your life the very next day. So, wherever you're listening from, thank you for joining me. Let's take a breath, settling, and let's grow together. I'll see you in a bit. All right, so today I want to talk about something I think a lot of us are experiencing, even if we don't always have the words for it. Yeah. The person I am becoming versus the person I used to be. Sounds interesting, right? All right, let's get into it. Now, the truth is, growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes uncomfortable, and trust me, even a little lonely sometimes. But in those moments, we know that something real, something good is happening. Now, let me ask you, have you ever looked at your life and realized you're not the same person anymore? Not like everything changed overnight, no, but you just realized that the things you used to tolerate, you can't anymore. The things you used to think doesn't sit right with you now. Even the things that used to excite you don't feel the same. Your appetite suddenly, all of a sudden, changed, and you find yourself in that in between space. I call it in between space because um, it's not fully who you used to be, but at the same time, it's not fully who you are becoming either. So, and trust me, this in between space, you see, that space can feel confusing sometimes, and even sometimes feel very lonely. I think one of the hardest parts of growth is realizing that becoming a new version of yourself often requires letting go of an old one. Now, who needs a new when you have the old? You don't need to desire to have some sort of newness when you're still stuck with the old, right? Um, because that old you, that old self is familiar, it is comfortable, yes, and it's what people recognize. That's what a lot of people recognize about you. So, but then growth will always ask questions like, are you willing to let go of that old? I think one of the worst situations to find yourself is one leg in the old and one leg in the new. What do I mean by that? As much as you're trying to grow into a better version of you, you are still stuck in the old version of you. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But then one of the ways to know that you're actually growing is when you begin to ask questions like, am I willing to choose who I'm becoming? Am I willing to tread on waters? Am I willing to step out even if it feels unfamiliar? Am I willing to leave my comfort zone? You see, for me, I've started to notice certain shifts in my life. I'm more aware of my choices now, and I'm more intentional with my time. I'm questioning things I used to accept without thinking. And sometimes I wouldn't come here and tell you I don't miss the simplicity of who I used to be. But at the same time, I know that something deep is happening. Growth is happening. Growth is happening, right? So one thing again that I realize about growth is that it's not always exciting. Yeah. Sometimes it looks like saying no when you used to say yes. Yes. Sometimes it looks like choosing discipline over discomfort, walking away from things that no longer align with you. And can I be honest? That can feel like loss sometimes. But I'm learning that it's not really loss. No, it's alignment. I believe that God uses these seasons to shape us, you know, not just only on the outside, but also internally, changing our mindsets, our values, our decisions. Because the person you are becoming has to be able to carry what you are praying for. The person you're becoming has to have the capacity to handle, that version of you that you are praying to be, that you are hoping to be. I hope that makes sense to you. All right. So, if you are in that space right now where you feel like you are outgrowing your old self and it looks like you are transitioning into the new, I want you to know this. You are not lost. You are just evolving. You are not confused. You're becoming more aware of who you are. And even though it feels uncomfortable, it's actually a sign that something is shifting in the right direction. So maybe the question you need to stop asking yourself is, oh, why do I feel this way? Why is my life like this? No. Maybe what you need to begin to ask yourself is, who am I becoming because of this? So as you go through your day today, I want you to reflect on this. Now I'm going to give you an assignment. What is that one thing that the old version of you would have done that the new version of you is learning to do differently? Let me take that again. What is that one thing the old version of you would have done that the new version of you is learning to do differently? Let's start there because I believe it's a good place to start. That's how growth becomes real. Now, if all of this that I've said today resonated with you, I want you to take a moment to sit with it. I want you to also pray that God will give you more revelations and insight on the things you need to begin to do differently with your life. And I trust God that He will definitely help you. All right. All right. So I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you in my next podcast. Bye for now.